The following program deals with mature subject matter and is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
I can love you better, yeah.
I can't love you like I do, no. Ain't nobody love you better than me, better than me.
You're listening to Real Love with Lonnie and Cara podcast. Real life, real love, and real talk. Welcome your hosts, Lonnie and Cara Barker.
Welcome back. We are Lonnie,
Cara,
and you are tuned in to Real Love with Lonnie and Cara. And of course, this show is brought to you by our dear friends over at the Skin Deep and The End, which is an amazing card game. We use the couples edition. There are different variations, of course. You can go to theskindeep.com and use promo code REALationships for a 10% discount. And when you go there, just mention that Lonnie and Cara sent you. So we have been running strong for the past 3 weeks now.
just about.
And we're kind of back in the groove. We've been off for a good while, where we would regularly have conversations just about relationships, love, and life. So we just felt compelled to kind of bring that back, get back into the rhythm of doing that, and just have open and honest dialogue. Of course, one thing that I really like about these talks is they are unscripted.
Yeah.
We don't have bullet points. So
and literally, I have no idea what we talk about.
Right.
He never says what the topic's going to be. It's just kind of like, okay. So I feel like it's at an unfair advantage.
Okay, it's an unfair advantage only for the sake that you like to be structured and I am very spontaneous. So I don't know why that's an advantage. It's just different.
Okay.
So it's just different. I don't care about, I don't need to know the game plan sometimes. Now let me make a correction. In some cases, it's necessary to have the game plan. But when it's just like certain things, okay, let's go. And I'll roll with the punches. You like to organize, you like to know in advance how things are going to be.
Yeah.
You like to know what questions are going to be asked. You like to know what the topic of discussion is going to be for whatever reason. That's your style. For me, I'll roll with it. So not saying one is better than the other.
Okay.
It's just different. And that's good. So you have to learn to celebrate differences in relationships, especially in marriage. So different is not always bad. Different is just different. I remember Pastor Carlton Pearson, may he rest in peace. I remember him making a statement that stuck with me and still sticks with me to this day. If we are both the same, one of us is unnecessary.
That's true.
All right. So we'll have to learn to celebrate our differences. So back to The End, the couples edition. Last episode, we didn't really get to do it, but this is a really cool game. I wouldn't even call it a game. It's just a really cool way of starting conversations and having dialogue. So we're going to do this this time. We're going to open up with it.
Okay.
We don't know which cards are going to be chosen, so we're going to do two. You get two and I get two.
Okay.
Okay. So there we go. All right. You have your two.
Yep.
I have my two. And this is how we're going to get the party started. So do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can go.
All right. So I'll go first. And the way we'll do it is we'll both answer the question.
Okay.
All right. That way we'll get both perspectives.
Cool.
All right. Question number 1. When do you find yourself thinking about our relationship lasting? Let me ask it again slowly. When do you find yourself thinking about our relationship lasting?
Well, when do I find myself thinking about our relationship lasting? Be honest with you, probably when we are on our highs and on our lows. And when I say about that is when on our highs, I'm in the space of reminiscing and thinking and thinking about our memories and thinking about things that we've been doing that has been intentional of love deposits.
Okay.
When I think about when we're at our lows, I'm like, oh my gosh, are we still circling the fence and circling the fence and circling, just going around and around and around? How are we going to be able to finally deal with that issue and move forward? And so I think it's on the both extremes of the continuum when I think about our relationship lasting. On the highs, which I have to say there's lots of highs of of memories of good things, and gosh, we went through so many different decades together, right? But then I think you also, it's just natural human being is when you're not going through a good space and you're in a valley moment, you're thinking like, oh my gosh, how long is this valley going to be? And am I equipped to go through the valley? And is he the right person to be going to the valley with?
Okay. Well, that's good. Good answer. Well, when I find myself thinking about our relationship lasting, at this stage in our marriage, I don't think about the fear of it not lasting as much as earlier in the marriage. And that was partly due to me being unethical, me being deceptive, me being unfaithful. You could have left. You could have said, hey, enough is enough. I'm done. And I would have earned that. But as we bounce back from those terrible situations, and we grew and we got stronger, became more united, then I started having less and less worry about our relationship lasting, because as far as I was concerned, I knew I was not going down that road anymore.
Yeah.
I knew that I have committed myself to being a faithful husband. No excuses, no justifications. I'm committed. And the only way I got to that point was, first of all, submitting and surrendering to God, allowing him to do the work in me, to give me the discipline, the fortitude, and the desire to be faithful. So I don't find myself thinking about our relationship lasting as much.
Okay,
so
that's good.
All right, your turn, your question.
Are you concerned that my body will change over time?
Okay, I'm going to answer that question my way. Now you ain't gotta. This is my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, for the sake of fairness, I'll let you ask it again, so that when I give my answer, you don't have to say, well, the question says this. Ask it again.
Are you concerned that my body will change over time?
No, I'm not concerned, because it's inevitable. Our bodies will change over time. That's just how we evolve. So it's not a concern that your body will change. What I'm concerned about, and this is the part of the answer that's, I know, is going to make you raise your eyebrow. What I'm concerned about more is you appreciating the body that you're in, not worrying about what I think about it, because I'm always going to appreciate and value it, because that's what you are. That's who you are. That's how you are. God gave you to me. Now, when you talk about concern, that's a negative connotation. The only way I would get concerned is if you just sitting on the couch all day. You laying in bed all day watching Netflix. I ain't gonna be concerned. I'm gonna say, okay, all right, enough's enough. That's not a concern. You need to get yourself together, okay? So that's the way I would approach it. As long as you at least get up, move around, show me that you're putting forth some effort. Now, if you give up on yourself, that's on you. But now when this starts to affect me and what I need to do, you know what I'm saying, then it's a problem.
So what would that be like?
Okay, you ask. Are you sure you want to go
Down
down this road?
Yes, go down the road.
So if it gets to the point where I cannot, okay, I'll give it for the sake of politically correctness.
You have to be politically correct.
Oh, okay, Cara. Okay. Let's see. Now, y'all, this is different. She don't normally give me the green light. So if it gets to the point where I stick the key in the ignition, I back out the driveway and I take a ride, but I realize, wait a minute, one of these tires is bloop, 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 down the road. Why is my tire wobbling down the road? I thought everything was good. Okay. All right. You don't like allegory. If
You don't even know how to spell allegory.
ALLEGORY. In post-production, I'm going to put the correct spelling underneath. ALLEGORY. E-G-O-R-Y.
I don't
Allegory.
think there's 2 L's.
There are 2 L's. Now,
Nope.
people, that's why I love technology. I'm going to, during post-production, I'm going to put the spelling and the definition of the word to let you know, A, that I use it in the proper context, and B, that I spelled it correctly. Okay. And if I am right, Cara owes me. And what I want is what we do at open bet, meaning a free pass to get whatever I want when I want it. Because you started this, trying to correct me.
Go ahead, Jack.
See? As I was saying, the only way I would get concerned is if we getting busy and then you all of a sudden, your back lock up. or you catch cramps and oh, now, yeah. Now if you was white, you'd be red right now. You asked for it. I tried to.
But how's that have to do with?
Let me finish. I'm going to tell you. If everything is good, I have no concerns. But when we get to the point where you cramping all the time and you need, to stretch and all that and do all that, that means
that's age.
Okay, it's age, but at the same time, we both are the same age. So if you get to the age where then I'm getting to that same age. So that means we both need to do what's necessary so that our tires ain't wobbling.
Okay.
You asked for it.
Oh, so I guess I have to answer the question.
Yes.
Are you concerned that my body will change over time? Your body has, like we said, your body has changed over time. We got married when we were in college.
But the question is asking.
But I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I'm not concerned. Now, it's the same thing. If you're now no longer bathing and you're using Mando, that
Mando, I am not throwing shade on this product. We are not looking for any litigation or lawsuits. She just using product names. I would have generally said deodorant, soap.
But if you're not using soap, but you're using this deodorant, body deodorant, and not using soap, a rag and water and soap, I have an issue about that. Okay. Or if you just completely okay, I'm just gonna totally let myself go and look crazy. Okay. Well, and you don't even care about it. I'm like, okay, come on, we have to still. Okay. We're with each other for life, right? Right. And so we have to love how we have to love ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. Mm-hmm. But also, I think it's healthy to make sure that you are like you maintain a car. You should maintain your body as well.
I agree.
Mind, body, and soul.
I agree. All right. Second question: do you feel that you are pushing yourself hard enough, or you're settling? Do you feel that you are pushing yourself hard enough, or are you settling?
That's a good question. I do not think I'm pushing myself hard enough because there's a lot of things. I think in one of the episodes we talked about dreams and you don't sleep on your dreams, right? And you have to write down the vision or what have you. But there's a lot of things that I have aspirations to do. But one thing that I say I'm settling is because I need to do better with follow through.
Okay.
And so I think if I really mastered that and got more consistent in following through and not lingering, then I think I'd be a little bit further in some of the things that I really want to do.
Okay. I see. All right. So I'll answer the same question. Do I feel that I'm pushing myself hard enough, or am I settling? My answer is a little bit different. Sometimes I feel like I push myself too hard. I feel like even though I know my limits mentally and even physically, going and going and going and going. Prime example, even this past weekend that we're in, Thursday, we had to teach for Pillow Talk, which for those of you that don't know, every month we have the privilege and honor of hosting Pillow Talk, which is a great program that our church has at One Community Church. So we do it every month, every third Thursday of the month. It's fun. It's great. We have a great time, great dialogue for marriage. And so this past Thursday, of course, we were hosting and we taught Pillow Talk.
Yeah.
The very next day, Friday, of course, I wanted to rest, couldn't rest because, of course, worked for a majority of the day. Then we had a life group Friday night, which is still great. It was good. We had a good time there. Then Saturday morning, we got up, of course, had to, we did another podcast episode. Then I had to go do a video shoot for a majority of the day. Came back home, had to wake up like probably at 1:30 a.m. because, of course, I had to call my son, remind him, hey, it's time for you to get up. He was in Puerto Rico for spring break. Get up. It's 1:30 a.m. You need to be at the airport in Puerto Rico by 3. I called him because I need to make sure that he didn't forget to set his alarm. Okay, so I didn't get much sleep. The very next morning, early, of course, to this morning, I had to get up, go do another video shoot for a person in Dallas. And now we're here, had a chance to get a little nap in. But when I should have said, hey, I've reached my capacity. No, I can't do this. I have to put it off. I didn't. I've pushed myself through it. And so, no, I sometimes think that I push myself too hard and I'm not settling. But yeah, sometimes I can overdo it. And it gets to the point where just because you're busy does not mean you're being productive.
That's so true.
You can be
Yeah.
busy, but that doesn't mean you're being purposeful or productive.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
so, yeah.
All right, last question for us through this little card stack, the couples edition. What does marriage mean to you?
All right. I asked you that question on the last one. So
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think that was
no, we're going to give you.
a new card.
Yep. Because we've already actually done this one. So I'm going to give you another one. I don't know what it's going to say. All right. What does that one say?
All right. When do I hurt you?
Okay. For the sake of not being a team player, I'm going to be serious when I give the answer. But I got a lot of ways I could really, get a chuckle out of it, but I won't. Can I permission?
Permission to be funny.
Can I just let it out, please?
Well, all you know is you guys heard from previous episodes. If he goes there, you know the magic word.
Okay, no, I
And
don't
that
think,
will be up on
okay.
I'm sure post production. The magic
I
word is
don't-
right here.
No, I don't think we're going to need the magic word.
Okay.
All right. Sometimes it hurts me whenever. Okay. All right. Never mind. Scratch that. I'm not going to use that joke. I thought about it first because I know Maxine might be watching. Maxine is the alias that I give my mother-in-law, and she'll go off on me. I love my mother-in-law. So for the sake of Maxine not giving me a call, I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer the question.
All right.
Then.
I had to think about it first. 'Cause your dad is cool, but Maxine, she ain't having it. All right. No, all right. Seriously speaking, though, I think the times that you hurt me the most are whenever it's gotten better. Whenever you cut me off during conversation, that's my boiling point. But you don't do it as much. You still do it, but not as much, and I've learned to give you grace for it. But when you hurt me the most is whenever you disregard something I've either asked you to do or something I've said. You just completely disregarded or forgot or got distracted. I used to think it made me angry, but it does hurt. And the reason why I say it hurts is because sometimes I feel like you are the top priority in every decision I make. You are number one. Nothing else is above that because you are my wife. I pride myself in making you number one priority. I try not to forget what you need, what you ask for, what you request, what you desire, even the small minimal tasks. Hey, Bear, can you go pick up this from the store on your way home? Boom, it's done. Or, Bear, can you do blah, 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 blah on Wednesday? I get it done. But then if I ask for a small thing like, hey, Cara, don't forget, I put the clothes in the washer. Would you put them in the dryer? This is a small thing. But then I finally get home after the whole day. I look in the washer. The clothes been in there all day. I used to go off, but I'm like, let me just go ahead and not even say anything. And I start thinking, this is the part that I say what hurts me. I start to think, what was so distracting to you throughout the day that you forgot just a minimal request? And I know there are probably some things that you say, oh, I was working, I was this, I was doing that, I was talking this. I get that. I understand that happens. But when it becomes frequent, I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't understand it, but that's my answer. But you know what I think about that answer though? I think, okay, and this is the light at the end of the tunnel. If that's the thing that hurts me, we ain't out that bad. We're not that bad. Now that I think about it, because there were stages in our early stages of the marriage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But now where we are, man. Okay. Okay. But to answer for the sake of answering the question, that's the type of thing. Your turn.
Okay.
Oh, I know I'm about to get the
No, I would say
daffodils.
I didn't even.
I know you ain't, but you about
See,
to. Go ahead. And
when do you hurt me?
Gosh, here we go. Oh Jesus.
I didn't give you all that.
All right,
extra
okay,
base,
all right, fine.
And now you
I'm
over
all
there.
right, okay, I'm just gonna brace myself. I know.
Brace yourself. Check yourself.
Okay, I'm listening. Come on.
I think it's a matter of when, not dismissive, but if I'm expressing something and you'll say almost like, okay, that's not that serious, or that's not that big of a deal, or like, oh my God, what's your, okay, just get to the point, or just kind of like, my feelings are hurt about something, and you will kind of try to speed date it along, so dismiss the feeling. Or the response is, if you're frustrated and it's obvious that you're frustrated, and you'll get a temper. And what hurts me is, like, instead of like sitting in the moment, let's talk it through, you used to do this really bad. It's now not as bad.
What?
But you'll just like walk out the room, you will grab your keys and drive off.
It sound like that?
That's what it seems like.
Okay. All right.
Slam the door and roll out. So I don't like that. So yeah, that's what hurts me.
Okay. Now, for the record, when was the last time I did that? Just dipped out, left. Which, yeah, you're right. That used to be a habit. I'll wait.
I think maybe a couple weeks ago.
Oh no, that's
I think
false.
you were
I had to go
upset.
somewhere. I probably had to go somewhere. No, don't take away this moment.
I think
Oh my
a couple
God.
weeks
See,
ago,
that's what I'm saying.
when either you were hungry or something, and you're like, I don't know. Either you thought I was gonna fix something, I didn't fix anything. I know when you open up the microwave, you shut the microwave, and then you just like.
Okay, so you're saying I left, fled the scene. Is that what you're saying right now?
Well, fled to go get you something, and you came back.
That's exactly right. I went to get something to eat. I didn't just say I'm done with this and left like I would in the past.
Oh, okay. Well then.
I left to get something to eat because
But you had extra frustration.
Okay. I'm not going to even dissect what you're saying.
Okay.
I just want the record to show the accusation of me just walking away or fleeing the scene.
Yeah, no.
Now, back to my original question. When was the last time I did that?
I don't even know.
I'll wait.
I can't think of a time.
Okay. I can't. Okay.
So, nice job.
You over here not giving credit now. Okay.
I'm gonna give you credits. You
Okay.
need me to show all the receipts.
Hey, I'm just saying, whenever you do right, you want your points.
Here's the card. The and. And that is how you do those cards. Conversation starters. It's a full deck, and that's the couples edition.
Yes.
And so
The couples edition.
The couples edition.
Yeah.
100 questions. 100 questions to dive through on a date night or a family night, or
even take a couple of them with you to a restaurant.
yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Life coaching is all about you. Empower Consulting is an organization focused on empowering women by creating a safe space to accelerate their potential, elevate future-focused capabilities, skills, and create bold outcomes. Our vision is to empower and inspire every woman to be bold, confident, and have influence in every aspect of her life. Our mission is to do everything possible to empower and elevate women. With over 20 years as a Fortune 50 senior leader and a certified executive coach, Cara Barker helps clients accelerate their careers, build resilience, and gain influence through confident leadership. At Empower Consulting, we provide curated coaching experiences designed for entrepreneurs, leaders, and students who are ready to build their dreams, elevate their professional status, and grow their revenue and sales. By exploring emotional intelligence, strategic networking, a growth mindset, and leadership presence, our clients shift their way of thinking to become more effective leaders who make significant contributions to the growth and impact of their respective organizations. You were meant for more, and it's time for you to accelerate and execute. If you are ready to level up, schedule a discovery call with life coach Cara Barker today. To schedule your first discovery coaching session, contact 305-359-4300 or visit carabarker.net.
Now, all right, so let's get into the topic of discussion. I'm going to try not to take too long on this one. But just the other day, Thursday night, like I mentioned earlier, we did Pillow Talk, which is always fun to do. And the topic of discussion was SEXpectations. Great dialogue. It's always fun to talk about sex in marriage. But for some reason, in the context of Christian marriages, even in the church, it is a touchy subject. It's almost a taboo subject that, whoa, we'll talk about finances. We'll talk about casting out the devil. We'll talk about getting your breakthrough or getting your blessing. But when it comes to talking about sex in the context of marriage, a lot of churches are tight-lipped or don't discuss it at all. Fortunately, we are connected with a ministry in a church that really believes in pouring into marriages. And we're so grateful to have the opportunity to be able to be connected with that.
To be able to have open, we say hot conversations, honest, open, and transparent conversations.
Right.
And I would say also add an S, HOTS, safe conversations in a community. So
Right. Yeah, and so we had the conversation about sex, which we call it SEXpectations. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, because for some reason, for a lot of marriages, now of course it's common practice. People doing it.
Right.
Married folk and unmarried folk. People are out here knocking boots.
Knocking boots.
Yeah.
That's H-Town.
No, that's for the people
90s.
who. Okay, you know what I mean by
Yeah.
it. People out here getting busy. They out here doing the do. All right.
Doing the do.
Married or unmarried.
Yeah.
But whenever we talk about sex from a perspective in marriage, we talk about it from God's point of view, because we believe that God created marriage. There's no doubt about it. God created marriage and God created sex.
Yeah, that's right.
To be enjoyed and to have pleasure between husband and wife.
That's right.
Anything outside the confines of marriage is unauthorized by God.
Yeah,
right?
no license.
Yeah, and so when we talk about sex, we talk about it from the marriage side, okay?
Yeah.
But for some reason, and this is what I wanted to talk about, for some reason, a lot of people, as far as married couples, don't have that conversation about sex. And I think it's necessary to have that conversation because, number one, a lot of times people have these assumptions that you know what I want. A lot of people have the assumptions that you know how to please me, or you know what it takes to really make me enjoy it. But we can't live off assumptions. And so
That's good.
that's why there's a lot of disappointment when it comes to the avenue of sex in marriage, because some people have this preconceived idea about sex and they automatically assume their spouse has that same preconceived idea and desire.
Right.
But reality sets in and then you realize we're both going in two opposite directions.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we talk about sex and marriage, the thing that most people think about is having babies. Or like, now we can have babies and it's in a safe environment to have babies. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why, sex is good in marriage is procreation, right? But it's beyond that. I think the thing that most couples shy away from is it should be pleasurable.
Right.
But not just pleasurable for one person, it should be pleasurable for both people.
Yeah.
So when you think about sex expectations or sexpectations is, what are you expecting out of the relationship that's going to grow from a sexual fulfillment, but also to hopefully strengthen your intimacy? Because that's the line, or that's the thread that most relationships don't have. Is, yes, you can be getting knocking the boots, and anybody can knock the boots, but the piece that makes a marriage so enriched is the intimacy.
Right.
The connection, the naked and unashamed, that feels that bond, the unsaid conversations or the said conversations, or when you're not actually having physical sex, but actually intimacy of like you're connected, you're joined, you see into each other, you're having, it's bigger than that, right?
Yeah, it is. And one of the things too that's important to understand about sex is, excuse me, and this is one of the things that we teach whenever we teach on this topic, is a lot of people are introduced to sex at an early age of their life. We live in a sexually driven society.
That's true.
Everywhere you go, it's sex. Everywhere. Whether you driving down the street, you see on the billboard something sexual. You're listening to the radio, here's something sexual. You're watching TV, something sexual. Social media, definitely a lot of sexual ads pop up. Boom, boom,
magazines,
boom. Everything.
movies.
In the grocery store, you'd be waiting to check out groceries. You see magazines with 6 ways to be sexual, or 5 ways to get her to look at you different, 4 ways to make your junk bigger, 5 ways to
make your junk bigger.
Sex is everywhere. So we're
so
introduced
true.
to sex at an early age.
That's facts.
Speaking from my own personal experience, I was introduced to pornography at an early age. In fact, I remember growing up, and we as little kids, for some reason, you may not be able to relate to this, so just
Okay.
tag along.
Have
here.
your moment.
We would turn on the TV and we see the squiggly lines. We watch the squiggly lines for a while, and every once in a while you get a glance of a little titty nipple. Woo! We get excited. I mean, I'm talking, man. It wasn't just me. Nah, it was me, Ron, and Don, all of us. Now, look, I'm snitching, but we would see that. Oh, we get excited, and then the little squiggly lines. You couldn't see them. Then the squiggly line, you saw a little action. Oh my goodness! And then I remember me and one of my friends. Now I won't say who this friend is, but if he's watching or listening, he know who I'm talking about. We were coming home from school one day after school. And I was, coming. This is where I lived on the south side, and we went to Cherokee Elementary. Coming home from school one day, and we walked through the alley, and we saw this magazine on the ground. I lost my mind. We both got that magazine, and he ripped it in half. I said, "No, you take this half. I take this half," and then. We saw that, and it just started something in me, triggered something in me, and I was like, I'd never seen anything like that before. But that was one of the things that the enemy did to sow a seed in me that perverted what I then knew what sexual pleasure to be like. I then started seeing videos and things like that. And as I got older, of course, I started watching it online. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is unhealthy, because I was seeing things through pornography that I thought, okay, this is how it's supposed to be in real life. And the funny thing that we shared during Pillow Talk was, now I can say it now a little bit more free, but we was talking amongst church folk. So you should have saw some of the reactions when I said this. I said, okay, my preconceived or idea about sex was this, but now that I think about it, when I was watching the porn, I was not seeing a woman who was tired from working all day. I was not seeing a woman whose feet hurt. I was not seeing any kids running through there because they were saying, Mom, I'm hungry. I want some juice. I want something to eat. No, I didn't see any of that in the pornography. But then when I got married, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not what I envisioned our sex life to be like. So there were two different things going on. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to always be ready. You're supposed to be in the bed like this. You know, you're supposed to have on, like they call the lingerie.
Lingerie? Like potpourri.
Right. I'm like, whoa. You're not supposed to be part of the bonnet ministry. That's not how this goes. You're supposed to, when I come home, you're supposed to be in your silk robe. Okay. And then, you know, you're supposed to be ready. Your hair supposed to be like, blowing in the air. Who's at the
with the fan?
Right.
Beyonce fan hair.
Right. The candle's supposed to be lit. I'm like, no. This is not how it's supposed to be. So I realized that I had different expectations.
Yeah.
But then I had to come into reality. Kara's upbringing, she may not have had the same experience, or she may have had a different introduction to what sexual pleasure was supposed to be like. But we never had that conversation. Prior to us getting married, we never sat down and talked about what our expectations were. We didn't talk about some of the things that we enjoy, some of the things we don't like. And that caused a problem in marriage for us. Yeah. Because, and I'm keeping it 100, I had the mindset of, which most men do, and I'm sure women do too, but I ain't never been a woman, so I don't know. Most men have this mindset of, okay, if she not gonna do it, I'm gonna find somebody else who will. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. In fact, that opens a whole new can of worms that you will not want to deal with.
Yeah.
And so that mindset of, okay, wow, well, if she won't do this, I'll go find somebody else who will. And that's unfortunate. That's happening a lot in marriages because people are not having the conversation about sex. What do you thought?
I mean, that's a lot. You shared a lot there. And so when I think about sexual expectations or just expectations in general, women and even myself, is I'm connected through emotional connection. So I have to feel like you are emotionally connected to me. So I am one where we talk a lot with couples or just in general of like mastering of the foreplay. And the foreplay doesn't have to be like sexual foreplay, but the leading up to the conversation, the connection. I want to feel safe. I want to feel like you care. I want to feel heart to heart connection, right? Yeah. And so that emotional intimacy is so important to me. And so we never talked about that. We just thought about, when we got married, we were in our early 20s, so we didn't have like a lot of experience, So what our experiences were, or what we thought was right, was what we watched. So we would either try to imitate that, or we thought that was the way to do it, but there was no emotional connection with that, right? And when I think about that it's such a dangerous space to try to bring in like pornography or whatever to say, well, maybe we'll just do this. This will help us spice it up. Well, what you just basically did is you brought in another couple, you brought in another person into your marriage. Right. Yeah. You really literally did. And the dangerous space in that is that now you also bring in that comparison. So that almost imposter syndrome you bring in, and you don't realize you're doing that because there's an unhealthy comparison of, obviously, the women on the movies you don't see all the breaks and the cuts that they're having, right, of doing the different scenes. But there's also, people don't realize those women and sometimes men are in very dangerous situations where they are exposed to so many different things. People don't talk about the abuse of people that are doing these different movies. That's happening to them. Mental abuse, physical abuse, all of those things to perform on whatever those scenes. And so I think when you talk about sex or anything in a relationship, sex being one of them, is having to communicate what your expectations are, what your wants are, what your needs are, what you like. I think that is so key before even getting married, right?
Yeah,
so we talk about like in those premarital stages, or and you're like in a serious committed relationship, and now you're about to move into marriage, is not just as you prioritize where you're going to live or prioritize what where you're gonna your jobs, or prioritize how you're gonna do the holidays or the vacations or whatever, is sex. What do you like? How do you feel connected? When I do this, does that make you feel connected? How do you feel love? How do you receive love? Right? And so when you're having those deep conversations on the front end, you're actually starting to pour into your level of intimacy.
Right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Because I think the greater the level of intimacy, the greater of the sex will be.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And one thing that I have also learned is that whenever you make intimacy the goal, sex is amazing. Sex is absolutely amazing, because true intimacy is, of course, phonetically speaking, is intimacy. I'm gonna do something cool. I'm gonna do like the words in to me see. Into me see. All right? Cool.
Got it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? But intimacy is whenever we can see into each other, flaws, mistakes, perks, habits, quirks, and all, and still love who we each other truly are. For me to look at Cara and to see into her, to see her vulnerabilities, to see her weaknesses, to see her frailties, and still love her the way she is, because God made her specifically for me, that's true intimacy. And vice versa. If Cara looks into me and knows my past mistakes, knows my past hurts, knows my past failures, but still loves me because God made me specifically for her, that's true intimacy. And when you have true intimacy with your spouse, there's this confidence that comes from that. There's this sense of, wow, she is mine, or he is mine, just like in the book of the Song of Solomon. And whenever intimacy is thriving and intimacy is strong, then the physical intimacy or interaction is even better, is that much more pleasurable, because you are now truly one flesh.
That's good. And so when you think about that, though, because intimacy should be the number one priority, right? And the offsprings or the offshoots, if you think about a plant, so you've got one big stem, right, is intimacy, and the petals or the leaves that come off of the plant is all these other pieces, and sex is one of those things. If it's a healthy plant, right? But when I think about intimacy, when it is strong, when you're not able to have sexual, intercourse, you still have intimacy, because you're, as a couple, your life is going to, evolve. Your bodies are going to change. There may be times where, you're now having babies. And so obviously you're not having sex right after you have a baby, right? Or you may have a medical condition and you can't do that. Or you're aging and there's some things physiologically is not working at the same rate, right? And so, but intimacy is still the glue that keeps you together.
That's exactly
right. Intimacy is like, we can still have conversation. Intimacy says we can still cuddle and have fun and kiss and enjoy each other's company. We can still have quality time. We can still do things together. We may not be able to be physically intimate, right? Sexually intimate, but for whatever, maybe this current season that we're in, we're not able to do that, or the frequency may change, right? And so I think when you think about a relationship, intimacy grows with time and evolves, and that, I think, that makes sex even better if intimacy is prioritized.
Yeah, I agree too. And another thing that's important is having those conversations, like Cara mentioned, hot with the S on it.
HOTS.
Honest, open, transparent. What was the S for?
Safe.
Safe conversations. You have to have those conversations. And we know this from firsthand experience. Having those conversations of your fears, concerns about sex, your inhibitions, your desires, things that you like, things that you don't like.
Yeah.
Having those conversations is so important because you can't go into marriage assuming that your partner knows what you like.
Right.
That is the wrong way to approach it. And another important thing that I would like to mention is don't listen to your friends or your homeboys, their advice about what you should do with your spouse.
Especially if they're single. They have no idea.
Well, yeah, of course, obviously, yeah. But I remember, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this.
Well, you're already sharing it.
Well, okay. I remember one time a fraternity brother of mine said, "Hey,
So
man,
stupid.
this is what the women would like." And so I was like, "Oh, cool." Now I was married at the time. This joker was single,
Right.
So I was thinking, okay, yeah.
Let's just do this. If you're getting advice from your single friends, stop. Right? If you're getting advice from unhealthy married couples, stop.
Yes.
You need to make sure you are with someone that actually has elevated thinking, that actually has a proven track record, that speaks with wisdom to pour into your relationship. Okay, carry on.
Agreed. So I'm thinking, oh man, I'm spice things up at home with Cara. So one night came home, you know what I'm saying, had the candles going, I had the slow jams playing, I had the atmosphere set, it was ready. And so, we start our thing, getting busy, whatever. So, I don't know if I blindfolded you. I don't know what I did, whatever it was.
I don't know.
So I got behind her, and so, oh my gosh.
So
it's
bad.
funny now. So I got the candle wax, and so I put a little on thing and let it drip on her back. And it's like
Second degree burn later.
Wait, no. The funny part is, the slow jams were playing, and all of a sudden it felt like somebody bumped the DJ booth and said, "Scratch the record." I was like, what? Bad idea. Bad idea. Totally ruined the moment.
And burnt my back.
I felt bad. Then I was embarrassed, and I was like, I can't believe ruined it.
So bad.
It wasn't funny at the time, but now we look back in retrospect. I'm like, what? This goes back to my point. You have to have those conversations and learn each other. Just like learning each other's love language, you have to learn each other's desires when it comes to
true.
Sexual fulfillment.
Yeah, I think the kids will say that. The new term is like delulu. You were delulu.
Oh my gosh.
That was just I mean, you could have probably tried how about warm honey? I mean, that would have gave the same, I think. I don't know, but that was crazy, and it burnt my back. And
now it didn't leave no burn, no nothing like that.
No, but it burned my back.
Right. It was not.
It wasn't
not
second degree. It was not pleasurable. But I think that's a good topic or transition. Pleasurable is that sex should be pleasurable for both people. It's not should be one-sided.
Exactly
so
right.
if it's something that he likes and I don't like, it's not like, okay, I have to just concede.
Yeah.
No, you need to find a happy medium in between that you both enjoy. Right?
I agree.
It shouldn't be something where one person is enjoying it.
Right. The And, Couples Edition by The Skin Deep. The And is a card game with intimate and thought-provoking questions that help embrace vulnerability and deeper conversations for couples. Visit theskindeep.com to purchase your deck today. And because you tune into the podcast, you can receive 10% off your entire purchase just by using the promo code REALationships. That's right, the promo code REALationships. Visit theskindeep.com and tell them Lonnie and Cara sent you.
So it should, honestly, it shouldn't be as one person is enjoying it and the other person's not. Mm-hmm. There are some moments where, as you're having those sex expectations or those conversations, that's really what it is. As you're having those conversations and you create a space of safety where you're sharing what you like or what you don't like, there may be is finding that middle ground. It's like, okay, I'm interested in doing this. I'm open into doing this.
Yeah.
And so ultimately it's something that's pleasurable. But as intimacy continues to evolve, some things that may have been pleasurable for you at the earlier stages of your marriage may no longer be pleasurable, right?
Exactly.
So you have to communicate that to ensure that you are evolving your conversations about sex.
Yeah, of course. And another thing to keep in mind is whenever you have the mindset of serving your spouse, that changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
Instead of being self-centered and seeking how you can get pleasure all the time, shift your focus to pleasing your spouse. This is so important. And I think this is a game changer for a lot of us, because whenever I focus on trying to please her, now for Cara, she is, I don't know why this thing keeps lowering, but Cara is a person that, look, all I gotta do is put on a nice little Lifetime series, some popcorn.
Not Lifetime.
Well, a rom-com, popcorn, and I don't know, what's them little gummies, not sour gummies,
Sour Patch.
Whatever, yes. Give her some of them. Oh, she's good.
I'm low maintenance.
In that regard.
I'm low maintenance.
In that regard. So I know that, so I can go ahead, boom, 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 boom. I know that. That's foreplay. If I've already got it ready, boom, that's foreplay. Because I'm thinking about her. I'm not thinking about myself. Serving your spouse. Same for Cara. If she is thinking, what does Lonnie like? Let me think about that and do that. And you have this servant mindset of serving and pleasing your spouse. That's the game changer, instead of having the mindset of, okay, tonight I want her to blah, 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 blah. Or tonight I want him to, because it's all about you. Now, of course, you have to understand that my body is not my own. Cara owns it. Her body is not her own. I own it. Not in the form of slavery, but in the form of oneness in marriage. And so if there's times where Cara wants to have physical intimacy and I'm tired, I have to communicate that I'm tired. Now, of course, if she still says, I know you're tired, but I really would like to, then of course it's my duty and obligation to give her what she needs, vice versa. But when it gets to a point where if I say I'm tired and I hold my ground, it's like, no, it's not going to be pleasurable. It still goes back to communication.
Gotta communicate that.
Yeah.
You gotta communicate. The other thing I think is important too is where we see, don't make sex as it is a negotiating or a manipulation of like, because I did this for you, now you gonna give me this. That's to
wrong.
me is wrong. It's out of order.
Right.
It is not is it quid pro quo type situation? It shouldn't be like that, because where is the pleasure in that?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
shouldn't be like almost like a transaction. Now you made it as it's like a contract, right? And so really is, as you are evolving and having those conversations, one, you got to communicate. You got to communicate your needs. You got to communicate your wants, your desires.
Yeah.
This should be your lifetime partner. You should want to be able to enjoy each other for life, right? And so you want to have enjoyable sex. You want to have deep intimacy, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that each other's needs are being met. You want to feel naked and unashamed and vulnerable so that you can share with humility. And sex should be fun, right? It should be fun. When you think about pleasurable, it shouldn't be like it's a job.
Right. It shouldn't be a chore.
It shouldn't be a chore. Like, okay, I got to do this. Okay, there's something that's missing when you feel like, oh my God, I got to do this. Like it's a job. There's a missing ingredient there.
Right.
And that missing ingredient is something that you can communicate about.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And one other thing that I want to mention before we wrap this thing up is, and I say this with all due respect, and this goes out to the fellas. Fellas, y'all not going to like me for what I'm about to say, but man, look, it is what it is. It is mind-boggling to me how so many men are shaming their women when it comes to, body shaming. body shaming their women, especially those men who got their wives pregnant. Your wife then carried 4 or 5 babies for you. Now you got the audacity to body shame her.
Yeah.
You look like you carrying a baby, Joker. But at the same time, you got the audacity to body shame your wife because she's not looking like your little side piece. Or she don't look like your coworker. Or she don't look like the lady you meet at the grocery store. Or she don't look like the woman you met at the gas station. Shame on you.
Shame.
Now, one thing that I have to admit is I used to be that guy. So I don't count myself to be perfect. I used to be that guy. But then God dealt with me harshly on that. I'm the one who, whatever stretch marks she got, I'm the one who gave it to her. So I have to learn to embrace every crack, every crevice, every flaw, and make her feel like she is the best thing that ever happened to me. She is my gift. God gave her to me, and I am to enjoy every bit of her. And I should never make her feel less than because she's made specifically for me. You should never, ever, ever, ever make your wife feel like she has to compete with another woman or compete with somebody that she's never met, she's never seen. Like you, if you stuck with watching pornography, you want your wife to be like the ones you. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. You do not know the mental, psychological, and even physical weight you're putting on your spouse whenever you do that.
And you're putting on yourself, right?
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah.
even beyond that is pornography doesn't just hurt your spouse, it hurts your relationship with God.
That's
let's
exactly
just be
right.
honest with you. It hurts. Sin is sin.
Yeah.
There's no levels. Sin is sin. So
Yeah.
it blocks that relationship with God. So don't even think about, am I going to lose my relationship? Think about how I'm going to be not in right standing with God. Right? So let's just be honest there. Now, the other piece, this would be for the ladies. As Lonnie alluded to, the bonnet ministry. Men are stimulated by what they see.
Sure is.
And so now, I don't need anybody saying nothing because I will wear a silk scarf and nobody's business. I've worn a bonnet before and all that. But do you have to do that every single night? Right? And so men are stimulated by what they see. So Lonnie would tell me, and this may sound kind of funny, he's like, okay, I feel like I'm going to bed with a lumberjack because I had some of my pajamas. They're comfortable, but...
She be going to bed with Carhartt material. She can't wear Dickies pajamas. The hard pants.
Carhartt.
Yeah, she be wearing this like flannel.
So there are moments that we all know.
Give me some silk. Some silk or some satin.
There are moments that you probably are going to wear.
Like I'm rubbing against tree bark.
There's moments, this is so bad. There's moments that I'm sure, whatever, during that monthly time, you may wear something more cozy and comfortable, but I had to divorce some of my pajamas. And I'm like, okay, let's have a happy medium, right? I got to be comfortable. I don't want to be cold. So maybe I'll find some nice pant sets and some new cute short sets or whatever. But men are stimulated by what they see. So we know that. They're connecting that. We are similar about how we feel, right? And so in that same space, I did a little bit of I had to donate a bunch of stuff or throw away a bunch of stuff. One, because I was like, you know what? Let me find a happy medium. So I have some nicer things. I think everything that's in my pajama drawer are something that slides. And so in that, I did that because I know that's what he likes to feel. But in return is how he feels is how he's stimulated by what he sees. I'm stimulated by what I see. Or how I feel. Sorry, by how I feel.
Right.
So, but no, that's for the ladies. Sometimes you don't have to have the bonnet every single time on. Or find like a non-crazy looking bonnet. There are bonnets that you can probably wear that's not as like big flowers. It looks like you look like one of the Mario brothers.
You look like
Super
Aunt
Mario.
Jemima.
You don't look like Aunt Jemima. You don't look like a Super Mario Brothers with the bonnet. But there's probably a happy medium where you can find at least nothing that's looking too crazy, because we do want to protect our hair, protective hairstyle.
You know what I found interesting though?
What is that?
You didn't start out with the bonnet. When you tried to get me, you didn't have no bonnet. You didn't have no.
They didn't have bonnets back in 90.
Okay.
95.
So, really? They didn't. They had do rags. They had all that.
What girls had do
listen,
rags?
Listen.
We had silk
Hold on.
scarves, and you saw that.
Hold on. When we was in Walker Tower, you didn't have not nan wrap, scarf, bonnet on your head whenever you was trying to jump my bones or get in my drawers or try to, because you was the fast. You was one that's my story. I'm sticking to. I said it first.
I was not.
Don't try to say I was the fast one.
Let's just be honest.
Can I just?
Who's one?
Can I live my truth?
Finding magazines in the alleyways.
Can I live my truth? Let me just have my moment.
Okay, have your
She
truth.
pursued me. I said, hey, no, I don't think we should. We should wait. And you kept like coming on to me. All right, okay. That's a stretch. But whatever. Okay.
That's a big stretch.
Okay, but the point I'm making is in the beginning, you didn't start out with the hair scarves no, you didn't. And most people, when you start out, you give your best. You start out.
That's the same
No,
for
hold
you,
on.
Jack.
Listen, no, see, don't try to do it because I brought it up. Let me finish. Let me finish because I'm making a point.
And whenever I say Jack, that means he's being jived.
Let me make my point.
When you hear me say Jack on any of these episodes, it's because he's being
Can I please make my point? I'm trying to set some people free right now. Let me make my point. Okay. The point I'm making is you start out doing a certain thing. You start the race full blast. You come out the blocks, gone. You're doing all the nice stuff and you're looking good, you're smelling good, everything is great in the beginning. But then after you say I do, for some reason, I'm just generally speaking.
Well,
let me finish my point. For some reason, things change, and then you get a little too careless.
Careless.
You get a little too comfortable now. The thrill is gone.
Ain't no thrill gone.
All of a sudden, the spark then turn into a glimmer. Then the glimmer starts to get dimmer. The next thing you know, ain't no light whatsoever. You just whatever. Like, look, you get it how you get it. Here's your plate. Oh, that's what we doing now? Okay. All right. And that's why a lot of marriages, not saying that's what's going on here in the Barker household. I'm just saying. That's how a lot of marriages start getting little rocky. Because I'm not saying it's just the woman now. It can also be the man. But the husband or the wife, one of them start to let loose and they start to slack off. And then that slack starts to be slacker and slacker and slacker. Then you look up, y'all looking like Otis and Clara over there. Looking like, what's a good old people name? Justine is one for a woman. What's an old man name?
Rufus.
Yeah, looking like Rufus and Justine. And y'all only been married for 5 years. Y'all already looking like Rufus and Justine. So that's a problem. But I said all that to say this.
Yeah.
And I've even heard you say it. What you did to get them, you got to do to maintain them. Now, there's a variation of, you said it a little bit different, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is this. For some of y'all, you're not really doing too bad. Y'all just got to switch some stuff up.
Yeah,
spice
it up a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
Within reason,
Right.
within agreement, mutual agreement, right?
Exactly.
And be intentional. That's
Yeah.
really what expectations are, is being consistent, being intentional,
Right.
being respectful, being open and honest and transparent, and having authentic conversations in a safe environment.
Authentic. See? Look that up in the dictionary.
Authentic.
Authentic. She trying to get on me for allegory. Authentic. Google it. Oh, sorry. No results found. Authentic.
Oh, sorry.
Golly. Authentic.
Whatever.
You heard it here first, folks. My wife done invented a new word. Authentic.
You.
Finish your point. You probably forgot what your point was.
No. The
Authentic.
reality of it is you.
What is the reality of it, ma'am?
Stop. The reality of it is that expectations, if you have expectations, you're not communicating those expectations, you will never get those needs being met. And so with anything that you have, you need to have those conversations. You need to be able to have that dialogue and be vulnerable. Now, there's many couples that we know that have had difficult time in that space. And that's when you need to get in actually mentorship or community, or it's okay to actually see a therapist.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a therapist, because if you're going to be in this relationship until death do you part,
Right.
you want to make sure that everything is pleasurable.
Yeah.
You want to enjoy it with your spouse. And so we just encourage those. If you're not having those conversations, have them. If you don't know how to start, think about getting the conversation card set. If you are needing just advice on that, reach out to us. Because one of the things that we love to do is having open and honest conversations with other couples, because maybe we can teach you not to use hot wax. We'll tell you that. That's one lesson.
That was a one and done thing. I ain't never tried it again. I ain't never think, well, maybe things are different. She might like it now. No. That was a no.
And that's why you use your voice. No, you don't like that. So. Right.
So as we wrap up, I want to say this. There may be some couples out there who are really having a hard time in your relationship as it relates to your sexual life. Whether that's due to past trauma, soul ties, past bad experiences, unmet expectations or assumptions. Our prayer is that God would give you guys a breakthrough in your marriage and cause you both to become more intimate, not just sexually, but even soulfully, loving one another. Husbands loving your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it, and wives learning to enjoy your husbands. And so I have learned one of the biggest lessons I thank God for allowing me to learn is that it is not all about me. Marriage is comprised of husband and wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Whenever I learn to put her priorities first, her desires first, and learning to serve my wife and honoring my wife, God will then honor me. So we just pray that this conversation was helpful in some way. Again, like Cara mentioned, if you guys do have questions or just, would like a healthy perspective, you're more than welcome to email us. We're happy to answer any questions we possibly can. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us. Did you have anything you want to share before we close out?
Nope.
All right. Thank you again. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Real Love with Lonnie and Cara. For more information, visit our website at REALationships.net.